Thank you, Fred. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be here again. Last time I presented here it was for our Community Outreach Award, and I'll talk about that in a little minute because our winner was here tonight, which is fantastic. So I'll just get my... of course, this never works when you need to work. Technology is great when it works, as I always say, which is why I bring my paper as well. It's a great pleasure to be here today on behalf of Laboratories Credit Union. We're normally known as LCU, and we're going to work with our brand, do some rebranding later in the year and become a bank, which we are. But we'll probably keep that LCU because all of our members know us as LCU and our new members know us as LCU. It's a great brand. It's wonderful to be the sponsor for this wonderful event for the Frontiers of Science. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Fred Osman for his tireless work in arranging this forum, other Reiki events, AIP forums that LCU's attended and sponsored, and the work that he does with universities, government and the education sector to promote the higher education in science, be it physics or chemistry or mathematics. There have been a number of outstanding speakers here at tonight's events that I've been very impressed with. There were welcome addresses by Dr. Susan Pond, AM, President of the Royal Society of New South Wales, Mrs. Mary Stewart, who I've met before at the event last year, the New South Wales Branch President of the Royal Australian Chemical Institute, and Professor Miroslav Filipovic, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the Chair of AIP New South Wales. Did I? Oh, good. Mr. Mark Couret, I was very interested to hear his presentation. In my previous role, prior to being with LCU, I spent 6 years as a partner in a global venture capital firm, and we worked with a lot of the startup hubs in New South Wales and in South Australia. Both the former government here and also the former government in South Australia set up those hubs, and we're invested in a lot of startups, so that was just fascinating. So that certainly related to me. Professor John Mattick did a fabulous presentation, very much enjoyed that. And Dr. Renee Gorham, what can I say? Renee was the winner of our Community Outreach Award last year, so congratulations again for that. After the break, we have another wonderful speaker coming up, Professor Kate Jolliffe, who's the Associate Dean of Research and Professor of Chemistry from the University of Sydney, and Associate Professor Richard Garner from the School of Mathematical and Physical Sciences from Macquarie University, followed by the panel discussion. So now I'd like to give you some quick background about LCU. We're sort of like a startup, and we're just really starting to scale now. We were formed in 1954, so we'll be 70 years old this year, which is fantastic. I say that because with startups, it's all about the J-curve, and so we grew very steadily, and we now really want to take advantage of all the core values that we've got. It's just a wonderful organisation and scale, and be able to provide benefits to a greater proportion of our members and more products and services. We started providing financial services to CSIRO, so we're extremely proud of that ongoing relationship, and we sponsor some of their scholarships as well. And we've maintained that relationship, as I said, for coming up now to 70 years. A large number of our members are CSIRO alumni, and ideally many more will become members. But I think equally importantly, I joined 2 years ago in May this year. We've also branched out to other groups of professionals, STEM company workers, via specialist brokers, online marketplaces and industry associations. And we also receive multiple daily inquiries about our loans and term deposits from friends and families of existing members, which is quite remarkable. Interestingly, I attended the industry forum for us is COBA, so that's the Customer Owned Banking Association. And they had an annual chair and CEO forum this week in Sydney. And so my chair, Gordana Papic, attended with me. And there are 56 member-owned banks, if you like. And a very similar thing happened with super. I used to manage the largest super fund in the country at CBA, but it was a retail fund. Now, my money's with the largest member-based super fund, Australian Super. So it's been a very interesting turnaround about values and how you look after members rather than shareholder returns, quite a different paradigm. So out of the 5 million Australians that now bank with member-owned banks, which we are one, we have $160 billion of assets. And it's growing quite substantially. The other interesting stat that I found was that in terms of customer satisfaction, out of member-based banks like us, and our stats are very similar, customer satisfaction rates in excess of 92%. Out of the big four banks, and I work for two of those, it's about mid-70s. And that's not very different to when I was at ANZ back in mid-2000s, so that hasn't changed. Our value proposition's been formulated it's all about providing the best member experience possible and service. So at LCU, that's I suppose probably the key tenet of our value proposition. So we look after members. You also enjoy low fees. We have very competitive interest rates and term deposit rates, both for our first home buyers product for our lending, and a special fixed loan product for new home purchases or refinances over $350,000. All our loans over $300,000, we have a variable interest rate of 5.95%. And we were recently, just a month ago, awarded CanStar, Australia's largest financial comparison website's 4-star award rating for Outstanding Value Home Lender for 2024. So that's just fantastic. So, and testimony to my team as well, so, and our members. We offer great term deposits on our term deposit products as well, and we can certainly work with members with discretions for larger amounts, and provide loyalty bonuses for retention, and some great kids products. So we're at the moment looking at our whole product range and really refining some of the products that just really haven't added value, and really remodelling some of those core products too, which is fantastic. The other really interesting thing is I have pretty much a whole new team. We've hired a new team over the last 18 months. Two of our existing team members are there who are fabulous, but it's just been wonderful to regenerate the organisation with fresh thinking, experience. And I was really nervous. I thought, oh my God, a whole new team, but it's just been fantastic. So again, the results we're getting are testament to our team. And our board's done a great job too. We have a member here tonight, so I have to say that, sorry. I think the most important differentiator though, having worked for ANZ and CBA, and having recently had my ID stolen through MyGov, when I had to go to 20 institutions, when I went to my institution, they fixed it straight away. With one of the other banks, I had to wait. I still had a holding account with one. It was 4 days before they could come back to me about fraud and keeping me on the phone for hours at a time. So I kept working while I had the phone on hold. So it's a very different proposition. So I suppose when you deal with a member-based bank like LCU, you speak to a person, and often it's the same person when you call multiple times, not an amorphous call centre overseas somewhere, or to an automated phone system, or through a chatbot. And look, I've invested in chatbots in my former role. They play a part, most definitely, for self-directed transactions. But when you want to talk about something with a bit more complexity, it's really nice to be able to speak to not just a human being, but someone who's skilled and knows what they're talking about too. So tonight we placed a LCU contact request form on everyone's table, and we'd love you to make contact with us if you'd like to discuss your needs in terms of lending or any of the savings or investment products we've got with some of our highly skilled staff members. And now I'd like to actually introduce you to some of those members who are here tonight. I have 3 of my team members here. The first one who I'd like to come up and say hello is Nicole Hayway. She's our head of lending, and I'll hand over to Nicole.
Thank you, Helen, and thank you everybody for having us tonight, and we're so proud to be able to sponsor this event tonight. My background has been always in customer service, always being there to be able to help people, and I see you guys do the same thing with your research and what you aspire to achieve with what you're doing. Not the same level, but I always want to be able to help people, and that is what LCU does. We are there for our members. We are there to be able to give you products and services that are able to get you to somewhere where you want to achieve to be in a better situation in your life. So I can't do that without having a great team as well, and my team that I have, I brought along today is Sapna. And she's our lending officer, and we also have Hannah as well, and she's our MSO/lending officer who's come in to help us today. We, as Helen mentioned earlier, we're the people that you will talk to. We're the ones that when you know that you ring up to talk to somebody, this is who you're going to talk to every single time.
All girls.
Yeah, I didn't even think, Sorry, there's 2 boys in the office and we're there to help. We're there to offer you guidance from the beginning to the end, especially in the lending. It's a big deal if you are going into buying your first home. And I know a lot of people have probably already done that already, or are looking to refinance, or are looking to go to their next stage in their life. We can take you through and on that journey as well. So can't do it without these guys, and I just want to introduce you to them and thank you again for having us here today.